All right, welcome to Cash Daddies. We're banking fatties. That's what we're doing here. We're banking those fatties. Episode number 4, 1 month in to this incredible experiment. And it just seems to be raining dollar bills, y'all. Joining me as always is my co-host. To know him is to love him. He just figured out how a microphone works. Fucking my good friend and yours, Howie Dewey.
Yeah, what's going on?
Nada, dude. It's been a fun week, everybody. And on the ones and twos, he is the sex object. He's the heartthrob of the show. He still has hope in his eyes, everybody. Please welcome Evan Hand, everybody. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Have you gotten any pussy from saying you're on the show yet?
No pussy yet. I'm waiting for it.
It's coming. It's not going to be the best, but it's going to be free. I'll tell you that now.
That's right.
And then on the bottom, major announcement. After his last appearance, we made some executive decisions here. I talked to the people in my head. I talked to Howie Dewey. We decided to now joining us on a permanent basis, the man, the myth, 11. You guys loved him last year. You loved his Coke energy, and we decided we're going to keep him here until his heart explodes. Please welcome a permanent host now of Cash Daddies, Chris Neff, everybody. How are you, Chris?
I'm amazing. When do I get fucking hazed? Seriously.
You're in, dude. You're in, guys.
Right.
After the last show, the response was great. I decided, hey, man, let's let Chris in. I'm going to be honest. Half of this is to stop him from blowing his brains out. Either way, let's keep him here on a weekly basis, okay? And I just got to tell you, I put a text thread together, and I don't know. I put a text thread together. And for some of you young guys, you might not have heard of the Smash Brothers. Okay, that's a baseball term. And then in basketball, there was the Splash Brothers. Well, we got on Cash Daddies, we have our own brothers. They're called the Ass to Ass Brothers. That's who they are. Chris Neff and Howie Dewey, they're in love with each other. Power bottoms, and it feels so good here on Cash Daddies. I'm so excited for you guys. The Ass to Ass Brothers. That's who you guys are. You guys are in love with each other.
You're not
squared.
You're not far from it. We've been on the phone with each other for 6 days straight, nonstop, trading this fucking roller coaster that is.
A lot of trading.
Hey, real quick, Chris, before we get into it, tell us what it feels like to this big, probably the biggest moment ever in your life. Just let us know how
it's all downhill from here. You bring me on the first show, I say GameStop's gonna moan. Trust me, if any of your fucking listeners listen to me, they're set for life.
Yeah.
So it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get any fucking better.
We need that attitude, dude. We need that attitude. So I'm super happy you're on, Chris. You're one of my good friends for a long time. So we're glad you're here, dude. We're glad we're here.
Thanks for having me.
Evan, have you got any pussy from saying you know Chris Neff yet?
Zero pussy. I'm sure I'll get tons.
Try out there. Try out there.
I gotta put it on Twitter.
Take a picture with horse tooth. I'm also joining us, our guest of the week, man. He is the Liberty Advisor. You've heard him on the Union of the Unwanted. He has been on my other podcast, which is called Tinfoil Hat. He has given me some financial advice, and I've really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to have him here. He is a Liberty Advisor. Please welcome Tim Picciot, everybody. Did I get close? Picciot?
Absolutely nailed it. So
bam. That's the hardest part of the show for me. Tim, welcome to the show, man.
Man, I love Tinfoil Hat. I love the first 2 shows I've heard of Cash Daddies so far, and happy to be on.
Very excited. Real quick before we get into Chris Neff's fucking home run trot, can you tell us a little bit about Liberty Advisor, everybody? Tell our listeners about Liberty Advisor.
Yeah, I'm a financial advisor that actually started the day Lehman Brothers crashed in 2008. And basically I got red pilled right out of the gates. And I was on the class that won the national competition on the Federal Reserve. And one day this guy who looks like Rob Zombie tells me the Federal Reserve is private. And I'm like, dude, you're full of shit. There's no way it's private. And next thing I know, I'm down the rabbit hole and reading G.R. Griffin's Creature from Jekyll Island and realized the whole thing's a big scam and fraud. And then started learning about, ending the Federal Reserve, and then learning about crypto, and then got, censored off Facebook, and started trying to find ways to help mitigate that, which is what brought me to the blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And so, just super happy to be here. And I'm like the red pilled financial advisor guy, I guess, who's
love it. You're in the right place. We have no red pills, but a couple of us have a couple white 8 balls, if you know what I'm talking about.
Or some blue blue pills.
Blue chews, yeah, dude.
I saw XG's Instagram, and he was asking people, is it okay to take the white stuff with the blue stuff, and had a poll on there. So
hey, can you do that, Chris? Can you do boner pills while you're gacked out on cocaine?
Yeah, they cancel each other out, but
Okay.
I already thought we covered this. We're not doing cocaine until they split the blenders up, because I'm not fucking going out on fentanyl because somebody doesn't have fucking counter space to make 2 different drugs.
By the way, I am working on a how to make money in drugs episode. That is going to happen. So just know, hey, dude, we want to do above the board, but Cash Daddies ain't afraid to go below the board too, dude. Hey, we'll go black market like a motherfucker. We ain't afraid.
Sam, whatever happened to the pills that were supposed to get you high and hard at the same time? Remember you said you're trying to work on that.
I'm working on it, dude. I think that's the future.
That's $1 billion idea right there.
Cannabis boner pills, bro. That'd be the best. Dude, Wall Street bets would love that fucking stock. Hey, Chris, half the comments on the YouTube was, this podcast called this. They called it, man. They were telling everybody about it. So,
they're right. You listen to me, right? So you're like sitting on the biggest fucking stack of money in the world,
Chris,
right?
This is your first episode as co-host. This is my last episode because I made so much money. I'm fucking out, dude. I don't even need to work anymore. Chris, have you gotten your money from Howie yet? Has he Venmo'd it to you, PayPal? Have you gotten your hundo from the Jets fan? Man, bad year for Jets fan, huh? Howie?
I haven't even asked Howie. I know he's a man of his word, but Howie and I still have positions in this fucking bitch stock from hell. So there's a time and a place for everything. Normally I would say pay up, but he and I are on the same ride, and I don't want to jinx anything.
The ass brothers, dude. They're all about that love. Howie, good week for you, bad week for you. What was going on with you? This was a roller coaster.
Oh man, my week was like a 7th grade kid's dick. It was just up and down every fucking 15 seconds.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. I'm shy. I haven't slept in a week. I made a move. I made a nice move 2 days ago where I bought Chris's stock, GameStop, at 88. It went to 100. Sold it. I'm like, honey, made some good moves, made some nice money today. And then the very next day, it went from 100 to 300. And I was literally out in the street trying to tackle a fucking taxi.
Okay, but for the record, I sold at 78. All right. I thought it was going to be done at 150, and I only sold 2/3. And then the next day, I sold everything I had at 115. So I don't feel bad, Howie. I missed it too.
I had PTSD from like 2008, just buying and selling. I started seeing stars, and I thought there was a hooker in the kitchen. Fucking.
Now, Howie, do you sell early? That seems to be a theme I've heard. You've sold a little early on a couple stocks.
That is a theme. That is me. Fucking Howie sell too early. Years ago I had somebody kick at my head that, hey, look, man, a profit's a profit. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. So that's my philosophy, and it's why my asshole's a little bit wider than most right now.
Dude, so much GameStop, so much Wall Street bet action in that ass. They had a carpool lane to handle all the fucking traffic. Am I right, everybody? Come on, that's a good joke. Stop. Why did I get nothing on that? I got nothing on that. Tim, you were on the outside. What are your thoughts on this whole thing? Because something very interesting happened. You want to talk some red pill stuff? We've seen the halting of this stock over and over and over again, to the point that, you know, something that Chris told me very early is that these young kids want to fucking bankrupt these whales, and these whales start freaking out, and I think they completely manipulate the market.
You think WSB did?
No, I think they were fucking with these hedge fund guys so much that they stepped in and they halted everything so they didn't lose their shirts. Am I wrong?
It's a complete bullshit. And I do want to say that I found out about Wall Street Bets from listening to the second or third Cash Daddies episode, and so I learned. So as a financial advisor, you guys are teaching me new stuff from your show. So thank you for that. But the thing is, it's called Robinhood. Robinhood was, stealing from the rich to give to the poor, and here's the small guy taking from the big guy, and then they stop it. Which, like, do you guys not know what your name fucking means? Like Robinhood
under our nose this whole.
And then also, I mean, take a look at, who Robinhood does. I think a lot of their trading gets funneled through Citadel, and it was Citadel was the one that then bailed out or tried to bail out this Melvin Capital. And so then, they're literally saying like, hey, and the rumor is from things I've read in Zero Hedge and some other blogs is that basically they were able to they being Melvin Capital and the hedge funds were able to reload short positions while everything else was closed and completely fucking manipulate everything. And it pisses me off that there's no reason in a free market, if all this information is out there, it's all public. Anybody can go on Wall Street Bets. Anybody can do this. But now, personally, I think GameStop long run, it's probably a bad move to buy it long run as a long run buy and hold. It's 10 years from now, it's probably not going to be around, but people should have the ability to do whatever they want to do in financial markets. Whether now you should be educated in what you're doing and not risk it all. But, it's not my problem that these hedge funds didn't buy, out of the money call options, aka, a call option is a right to purchase a stock. And so they could have spent a tiny percentage of their money to protect their ass completely. And a hedge fund, that's what hedge funds are supposed to do. They're supposed to hedge. So it's not my fault that hedge funds were speculating and then they got railroaded. I mean, it's just complete bullshit what was going on with, halting the stop in Robinhood and TD Ameritrade doing some stuff, stopping different options and things like that.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Well, Tim, let me ask you a question, Tim. Because I listened to the CEO of Robinhood tonight. This dick fuck came on CNBC and for fucking 10 minutes did not answer one question and basically sat there like, somebody had a gun to his head. But here's my question.
He can be the next Federal Reserve chairperson then. Talking on answering questions.
But here's my question. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, GameStop, along with all these other stocks, set records for volume. On Wednesday, GameStop did almost 200 million shares in volume. He didn't stop any trade Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. He waited till today where they did no volume, 50 million shares. And all of a sudden this guy's like, hey man, things are getting too crazy. We got to shut people down to say this fucking asshole came out and said he did it to save the traders. We want to save the normal retail guy from, can you imagine that shit? That guy should be locked up
it's
tonight.
So stupid.
That guy's got a suitcase of money in his fucking trunk right now.
Absolutely.
There's no way this is on the line.
Or they got the video of him diddling that seventh grader's dick that Howie was just referring to earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like
allegedly.
No, man. And earlier today, this is I brought up here, alley. They had those two, what are the Winklefuck twins from California. They had those two guys on, and those guys were hinting at it. They were like, well, somebody made a call. Somebody made the call to Robinhood.
But they weren't having it on Squawk Street.
No.
You hear them call them out?
They called them out. The two Winkle Dick twins literally called them out and said, this whole thing is shady as shit. Somebody called to Robinhood. Somebody got paid off is basically what they were saying. And there's no doubt.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but of course the media immediately said, do you have any proof of that? How could that possibly be? And, that's impossible. And it's like,
I love that, dude. That is the news thing. What do you want to say, Evan?
Allegedly, Citadel handles 60% of Robinhood's trades.
Yeah,
they do.
So they're
investors. They invest in the company. I mean, how the fuck do you halt American Airlines? You couldn't go buy fucking American Airlines today. Think about that one. That's not a tech stock. It's a fucking jet. You couldn't buy it today.
Did anything else get non-able to sell? Was AMC in that group?
Oh, yeah, 13 stocks, 13.
AMC, see, I didn't hear that.
AMC, Express, Naked, GameStop.
BlackBerry. Yeah.
AMC, which I'm still holding.
Yeah, I've got puts on AMC. But Evan, don't you have some shares of Express?
Yeah, I sold my Express when I was down big.
When it was on the elevator Express to hell?
Yep. But I stayed I'm holding with Naked. That thing's coming back, and I just put some in Dogecoin.
What exactly is Naked? What's that stock of?
It's just like
Fucking OnlyFans? What is it?
It's like a clothing brand, but it was at 40 cents last week or something like that, and now it's at 170.
Jesus.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jesus.
A decent gain.
Yeah, it was amazing. But you know, last week, Chris really got me into the whole. I started reading the boards, and I came up with it. Sam will love this shit. I came up with a major conspiracy theory last night, which I truly believe in. Some of these guys that Chris mentions, they have these funky names. I don't know, value guy or deep value.
Fucking value. He's the guy that started everything.
And they'll show, these guys will show their accounts of millions of dollars. Like, look how much we made. And I told Chris last night, I said, the bottom line is Deep Value is a 22-year-old intern working for a fucking major hedge fund that's coming in here and telling everybody and their mother what to buy, back up the truck.
It's
not
not
on CNBC.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, it would be the ultimate long con to have a plant inside Wall Street Bets, and all these brokers, these big businesses, these money holders were going long and, you know, shifting the narrative. But there is going to be an investigation. There's no way somebody's not getting popped. Whether it's the Citadel Robinhood collusion, or whether it's the insider that was the wolf in sheep's clothing on Reddit. Something's going to come out. This story is just.
Do you really believe that, Chris? Because I know this isn't tinfoil hat. That's a different show.
And I would never do that. But Howie started convincing me it's a very distinct possibility.
Well, I mean, the thing is that, do these guys ever pay the price?
Who?
These guys who manipulate markets, like Tim, right? I mean, like Goldman Sachs. And when they got everybody to invest in these portfolios that crash and burn, what Goldman Sachs guy went to jail for that? I mean,
no, they became the Treasury Secretary, and now the SEC. So at the time, there was something else called MF Global, which what they were doing is they basically took their client funds, they made a bunch of bad bets on Greece bonds, and what they did was, what they did was they ended up, basically going bankrupt, then taking their clients' money. And actually, Gerald Celente was involved in this. They took their clients' money to then bail out their own positions. And because this guy was a former Goldman Sachs CEO, former senator of New Jersey, he ended up never getting perp walked, never getting in trouble. And the guy that was his former boss that would have gotten him in trouble at the CFTC was Gary Gensler. And now Gary Gensler is going to be the new head of the SEC. So, I mean, there you go. And then you look at, now you got Janet Yellen, formerly at the Federal Reserve, now at the Treasury, when the Federal Reserve has supposedly started to basically, create a firewall between the two, and now they're both merged. That's a whole nother, rabbit hole to go down. But it looks like Robinhood did start trading, GME again. I'm just reading right now, and the stock is up huge
limited.
Again.
This is
limited. What the hell's limited?
What happened, right, is that and we're doing this. Remember, this is a show where, the energy of like you did blow all night and then you got called in to substitute teach for first graders. That's the energy we're bringing. And that's how we're fucking explaining everything. Okay.
I've actually done that before. I actually have done that and gone in and taught first graders. I swear to God, I have done that.
Okay. So the point is what I'm trying to understand here is that there were big whales that bet a lot of money on this thing was going to go down. But these little whippersnappers on Wall Street bets, just kept pumping money into it. It didn't go down. And these guys started to freak out. So they just collectively used their power to halt the market. Am I off on that?
No, that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
The thing is, with shorting a stock, you can lose more than 100%. And so if they weren't hedged, I mean, I forgot the exact number. For every $10 the stock was going up, these guys were losing billions of dollars. And right now in the aftermarkets, it's almost at 312 right now, the GME stock right now. So these guys were getting crushed, and they just thought that they were just going to be. So there's a saying is that you can be that the market can be irrational longer than you can be liquid. And so for these guys, maybe they had the right thesis that long term it's going down, but there was such a huge short interest position in this, like 140%, that once you start, getting your ass handed to you, you then have to then buy back your own stock in order to cover your position. And so if these guys thought it was a terrible buy at $20, they certainly think it's a terrible buy at 300. So allegedly they probably went in with their buddies, prevented people from buying it, which then if you can only sell it would then naturally collapse the stock, and then for them to help exit themselves or cut losses or be able to reinitiate new shorts. But yeah, I mean, it seems like complete bullshit what is going on. And now I'm sure AOC is out there talking about banning short selling. I don't really think they should be banning things, but what they shouldn't be doing is
banning naked. They should be banning naked short selling. I don't have a problem with short selling.
What is naked short selling?
Okay, so let's back up.
Evan, can you look up the definition why he talks about it?
You don't need to look it up. I'll just tell you. Just a little credit here, all right? We don't need a fucking dictionary.
I want people to be able to see it.
So here's the concept. Tim just mentioned the short interest was over 100%. Well, what does that mean? When you short a stock, you borrow the share before you short it in the hopes that you're going to sell it at a lower price. And once you do, you hand the share back to the person you borrowed it from. A naked short is when you sell that stock short without borrowing it. So that can only occur if the shares aren't available, which is why you see the short interest over 100%. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you said it should be illegal. It is illegal, though.
It is illegal, but people do it all the time.
Oh, man.
So I don't have a problem with shorting. That shorting's good for the market, in my opinion. I know a lot of people would disagree. But naked shorting, it's definitely a problem. And
there's no way AOC should ever be over 100%
short all the time.
Yeah, when's her sex tape coming out? I mean,
it's coming, dude, and those cans are gonna be rocking. Trust me on that, and that's gonna get her the fucking White House. I guarantee it.
And it's a good thing Evan didn't go to the images. If you go to Google and type in hit images for naked short selling, so is it just like a bunch of midgets?
Do it, Evan. I already got a strike for a twerking video.
Evan,
I'm not gonna share it.
Can you just type in AOC's cans and see what comes up?
Yeah, why not? No nips, dog. No nips.
Well, it's funny that I just took 30 hours of continuing education, of which most of it was on ethics for my CFP stuff last week.
You
go straight from that right into this.
Here, this might get you a strike.
I don't want strikes, dude.
I'm kidding.
There we go.
Oh, what if it smells like her vagina, like Gwyneth Paltrow? Would you buy AOC candle that smelled like her fucking meat shoot? Would you do it?
Depends on how much mahi is in there. That's what it all comes down to.
This is great. I hope the ladies stayed after. No more jokes. Please, ladies, don't.
We need a soundboard for Kramer. Like bye. So I used to have that. I used to have that on my soundboard, but I need it.
So final thoughts on this, guys, before we get into a little Bitcoin talk, because I find it very interesting that Bitcoin has just kind of like nobody's talking about it right now. You remember how big it was like 3 weeks ago? Now nobody's talking digital. Everyone's talking about GameStop, which, where I'm from, that seems shady as shit. And you're like, why is no one talking about this thing? But final thoughts.
Conservative.
I got a couple final thoughts. There was a Post article that just came out about a kid that took, and I still can't figure out how the fuck this is possible. He says he took a mortgage out on his parents' home to get into GameStop. And he says, right. But here's the point. How do you pull that off anyway? I just refinanced my house and I had to meet a notary and get my ID and thumbprint. He gets the money. He puts it into GameStop. He's still in his position. And he quote says, I'm optimistic that things are going to turn out okay, which means he's still in this, probably bought it at 300 for all we know. What happens? Do the parents sue their own son? Is that, oh, you got it there?
Yep.
There he is. There's that asshole. I hope he bought at the fucking top. Fuck him.
Well, one other thing that we didn't even talk about is Robinhood was actively closing people's positions out. So not only were they not allowing people to buy it, they were forcibly selling their positions too. And that's like a whole nother level.
That's a major lawsuit. Can you imagine?
Oh, there's already 2
this
lawsuits about that.
Can
There
you
should be
imagine this?
a million
Let's say you bought GameStop yesterday at, I don't know, 250. And it dropped this morning, and you're like, all right, cool. I'm going to dollar cost average. I'm going to pick up a couple more thousand shares because I still believe in this. And you can't? Can you imagine? They don't allow you to? That's basically, that's stealing. That's stealing.
Should we explain what dollar cost averaging is for the OnlyFans that might be listening to this?
Yeah,
or for anybody else?
The
I mean,
ones that left are still after my jokes.
I'll
will
give you a
never
great
say
one.
Meat shoot again, ladies. I promise you.
I'll give you a great one. AMC. Howie, the fucking genius, goes in and buys it at 13. The second the order's filled, that thing drops like somebody tossing a baby off a cliff. It went from 12 down to about 6. I'm on the 6th floor too, which isn't good because, man, I'm telling you, I was ready to nosedive.
Oh,
So,
come on, dude.
What does Howie do? Howie buys it at 650, 7. And what it does is basically you take 18, divide it by 2, and you don't pay 12, you pay $9. You average down, so your cost basis is lower. So I'm glad I did it because it's back up a little bit.
Can I suck my own dick as long as we're on AMC?
Hey, man, why not? This is Sausage Fest.
I'm some puts right at the top of AMC, along with Tootsie Roll. I asked
What do you
Howie.
mean Tootsie Roll?
6 of these fucking stocks
It's a
came
gay
up
term.
out of nowhere. We're up 50%. I call Howie and I say, Tootsie Roll's up 50%. And he goes, that's a fucking stock? And I go, I don't know, but I'm shorting it right now.
Yeah, and then I went in and tried to buy Starburst fucking calls. I was like, Tootsie Roll? That's a real, you're shitting me. That's a real stock because
they went after, if you pull up, Evan, if you want to pull up the short interest on the top shorted stocks, there were 8 or 9 of them that were just at the top of the boards, and I just picked one, and Tootsie Roll was at the top, and I got on that fucking.
I was gonna do it, but when I was in jail, we had a dude we called Tootsie Roll, so I had PTSD. I couldn't go there.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll? I don't know.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, dude. So,
It's like the worst candy. How are they in business?
I love
How do they have a
Tootsie
company?
Rolls, dude.
This is what I
love
found on
Tootsie Rolls.
NASDAQ.
Oh,
Most viewed in short interests.
yeah, that's updated. There's an easier one where you don't have to click as much.
All right.
It's out there somewhere though. But yeah, what do we have? AMC,
I think that one is by dollar amount, not by percentage. The one that you have up there right now.
All right, I'll try to find it.
Yeah, those are big cap, big.
Yeah, those
Well,
are.
hold
that's
on,
dollar amount.
Evan. Let's see if you can multitask because I know you were in some stuff that was up big. Because you had, what'd you buy? Express?
I had Express, Naked, had a little bit of AMC.
Okay. So what I did last night is I went on the Yahoo forums when Wall Street Bets shut down, and there was a copy and paste going around all of those stocks, and it all said the same thing. This is the next GameStop. Hold your position. Do not sell at any cost. And what happened today? They all shit the fucking bed massively. So there's tons of confusion going around, and you know, people are making money because they're shilling their garbage.
Holding a lot of puts.
That is going to be the problem.
Here we have for the shorts.
GameStop. Look at that.
AMC.
When
It's
it
actually
says
down. It's
percentage of shorts, what does that mean? When it goes 120, what does that mean?
That's the percentage of short interest currently in the stock. So GameStop is 120, which means 20% of that is at least naked shorted.
So basically, at least 20% of it's illegal, meaning there's probably more than 20% that's illegal. I mean, it's crazy.
Unbelievable.
So
dude.
Patrick Byrne of Overstock.com. So back in the day, he's a Stanford PhD, super smart guy. His father worked with Warren Buffett. And he was basically mentored by Warren Buffett. I mean, I think Warren Buffett's sort of a scumbag. But anyways, Patrick Byrne, super smart guy. He had an inkling that Goldman Sachs was naked short selling him because he's like, hey, I know how many shares I have as a CEO. I'm a PhD mathematician. And so he ended up spending $34 million suing Goldman Sachs to win 35. But the whole thing was he got all the discovery, saw how they were front running him, saw how they were doing all this bullshit. And then so he created a cryptocurrency platform called T0. Again, I'm not making a recommendation off this, but essentially T0, when you trade a stock, usually it's T+1, or meaning you've got the transaction is a T, then you've got a weighted day. It used to be T+3. So anyway, T0 means the transaction is a settlement. So through the blockchain, you could effectively someday make a stock market through the blockchain that actually, in theoretical, now it couldn't happen because of know your customer rules and Patriot Act crap and the fact that we live in like basically a 1984 Gestapo, but it theoretically is possible to, like, let's say, trade a token that represents Apple stock, trade it instantaneously. And then let's think about like bond interest. It's theoretically possible to, I mean, I think bonds are a bad investment anyways, but anyways, what you could do is if you could get through a cryptocurrency, you could get paid like every second or every hour or every day, instead of getting paid like once a year or once a month or once, every 6 months. If you could get like a constant drip, and it cuts all these middlemen out. And so there's things you can do through the blockchain that are much more interesting than just trading fake money back and forth. And this even gets into like censorship stuff of having decentralized systems where there's no, Amazon, AWS to kick in the door or for them to shut you down. And so, and this is sort of where I guess what we were talking about kind of blends into cryptocurrency, because there's people out there like major billionaires like Patrick Byrne who put up his own money to basically try to circumvent Wall Street, so that way they couldn't front run people, that way they couldn't flash trade people, that way they all these different things. But unfortunately, Wall Street's not going to be a big fan of something like that. And I do know, because I've talked with Patrick and Ernest Hancock as well, and basically Goldman Sachs came to him and realized what he was doing and like basically asked him like how they could get their hands in this. And now you see all the big banks are starting to get into crypto and starting to create their own platforms. And it was on Zero Hedge yesterday where they were saying that within 3 years, 20% of the global economies will have digital currencies. So at that point, they're going to completely have you by the balls. They're going to say, you know what, we saw you guys were protesting masks, or you guys are thought criminals, you guys were at the Capitol or whatever, you're Trump supporters, so we're just going to cut you off, or we're going to, this is the fight of our lifetime right now, is preventing the dollar from going digital, because it's going to happen. The original $1,200 stimulus program was supposed to be, it was written in the Maxine Waters bill to have a digital dollar to get your $1,200 stimulus check for, and then that would be backed by the Federal Reserve. But at that point, they can shut you off, they can have negative interest rates, and they can completely motherfuck you. And that is the absolute mark of the beast thing that everybody should be. Hold
on. Are you anti-crypto?
I'm anti the government coming in and having their own centrally controlled cryptocurrencies that they can. So there's decentralized cryptocurrencies, and then there's centralized ones. I'm against having the Federal Reserve having a centralized one where they can shut you off. And because they're shutting Trump's bank accounts off in Florida, just traditional stuff. When everything is digital, at that point, I like Bitcoin because it's an end run around the system, but they're going to have a Federal Reserve, basically Fed.gov, Goldman Sachs.gov, Suxcoin is going to be in existence, and it's probably going to be within the next 1 to 3 years.
My opinion is, dude, that I think that's what XRP is going to end up being. I think that's going to be the banker's coin. And I have a shit ton of XRP because I think it's going to blow up, right? And
what's XRP, Sam?
It's Ripple. It's basically Ripple XRP. That's what it's called.
Didn't Ripple take a shit like 6
No,
months ago?
here's the thing, dude. This is why I've always thought, and Tim, I'd love to hear your opinion. This is why I always thought that something was up, because they're like, we're delisting it. That's much different than dissolving it, right? We're delisting it. You can't buy it and you can't sell it, which makes me think they were just doing what happened with fucking GameStop right now. They were just making it so the poor guy couldn't get in on the action. And that what they're doing right now is trying to figure out practical applications of this particular coin on how to use in everyday life. Once they figure that out, they're going to release this thing. Everyone's going to buy in. It's going to blow the fuck up.
The problem is, who the fuck is the we, and how am I supposed to trust this consortium?
What do you mean?
You said as soon as they figure it out. Who are they? The owners?
The bankers.
The bankers.
What they wanted to do is they wanted to let crypto get into the wild, to have these 200 IQ geniuses figure out all the shit for free for them. And then they would then take that technology and then weaponize it against us. And so, Sam, you don't even know how accurate you are right now. The current Office of Comp Control or Currency, basically the guy that's the head of the currency at the Treasury Department, is a former Coinbase guy. He's been there since April 1st. Guess who he's going to be fucking replaced with? Take a guess who he's going to be replaced with in a few days. Ex-Ripple board member is going to be the head of the Office of Comp Controller Currency. Most people have no idea that's happening. I fucking hate Ripple. I've made one video on Ripple ever. It was when it was $3.40, and this is back in late, I think it was like January 3rd, 2018. And I ended up, making a video before my internet cut out, and I said, back then, everybody thought it was going to go to $10. There's 100 billion Ripple. So that would mean it's $1 trillion market cap. And I said, you know what? I hope everyone is buying right now. I hope you lose all your fucking money. And then my internet cut out. But what is it? I don't know what it's at today, but yeah, you've lost
26 cents, 27
Yeah, so you lost like 95%. So I feel pretty vindicated. But yeah, I think that maybe you're right that maybe they made this move to have it go down, to buy it back in the cheap. And then, but I mean, it's very interesting that this guy, Michael Barr, is now going to be the head of the new Office of Comp Control Currency, and he was a former Ripple advisor. They've had like Bill Clinton speak at their conference and stuff like that. But I believe that they're probably allegedly going to be the mark of the beast type cryptocurrency. And the thing is, they were centrally controlled. So instead of Bitcoin, where it's mined into existence, they created 100 billion of these at once. And let's say this is another rookie mistake that people make all the time. So like the listeners really need to pay attention to this. There's 21 million Bitcoin. There's 100 billion with a B Ripple. So people are like, oh, if Ripple is just worth like a fraction, if Ripple gets to be like what half of Bitcoin's worth someday, then we're going to be millionaires. I'm like, yeah, like what? It's going to take up the entire global economy. It's just going to be nothing but Ripple. And so people don't understand that you have 100 billion versus 21 million. And that's like, so people are always buying these like coins that are like 0.000.
Well, the only reason I understand what you're saying, and the only reason I hedged my bets on that and did buy it at such a low price is because the bankers are going to figure out a way to pump it up and just make it big so everybody runs to it and buys it. That's
or they'll just create their own. So that's the other thing. The other side of the coin is it's not too hard for these big banks. Like JP Morgan already has like an internal one that they're using between their big institutional clients. So I think that the big banks would probably just go ahead and just build their own cryptocurrency, which isn't that hard.
So I want to start from the beginning because we're getting into some deep stuff, and I want to again
start right from the beginning of the Bitcoin.
Let's start from the beginning. You actually had the Ask Brothers quiet for the first time on this show in 2 episodes. So yeah. I mean,
by the way, I have no idea what you just fucking said.
That was Chinese and Japanese combined.
See, I love that because I'm the opposite. I totally understand what you're saying.
And my take is this. My take is this: you get one currency and you get one language. It's English only and it's Bitcoin only, and that's it. So so the dummies like me can understand what the fuck is going on.
Okay, Tim, that's why you're here. You're gonna start again. You've done coke all night, okay, and you just got called in to substitute teach for first graders. All right, I need that coke energy, but I need you to explain it to 6th graders. Where does Bitcoin start? Let's take us through it.
All right. Well, I'm drinking seltzer water, so not quite Coke, but I'll try to bring that in energy. But, Bitcoin started with basically a pseudonymous guy or an anonymous guy created it, Satoshi Nakamoto. I actually think it could be some sort of consortium or some sort of entity, or it could have even been the NSA potentially that could have even created it. There's actually a white paper they created in 1996 that's very similar to that white paper. And so, I mean, this could be like a 10-hour explanation. So I don't know if you want the 2-minute one or the 5-minute one or what explanation of what Bitcoin is. But
I mean, just have some fun with it, dude. I mean, just as go through without and then chapter 4, how just you have a little fun with it.
Yeah, so I mean, it might make sense to kind of talk about how I got into Bitcoin and why I thought it was valuable, and then kind of bring it back to what it is. So, being initially finding out about the Federal Reserve and feeling I got conned into thinking it was an actual federal entity at one point, really pissed me off because I had a Series 7, a Series 66, my life accident health, a charter retirement planning counselor, was on my way to be like the youngest certified financial planner probably in America at that time at like 25 years old. And I thought I knew quite a bit. I was on the class that won the national competition against Harvard and Yale. So I'm like, so I can see this guy looks like Rob Zombie telling me the Fed's private. I'm like, dude, you're full of shit. And then it pissed me off so much because I'm like, if I didn't know this, then who the hell else is going to know this? And so it lit a fire underneath me. So then I started, going to, found out about G. Edward Griffin, then ended up finding out about Dr. Ron Paul, and then started getting into these daily Paul forums where I started seeing people talk about Bitcoin. But at the time, I just thought it was people trading fake money back and forth. And then I ended up seeing an interview that Ernest Hancock did, which he was actually the second radio show in America to start interviewing these guys like way back when. And so he interviewed a guy, the founder of Ethereum, called Vitalik Buterin, super nerdy guy that nobody would be able to understand what he's saying. But anyways, it really clicked with me that I was like, wait a minute, there's more things you can do with cryptocurrency than just trade fake money back and forth. That you could build applications on this. So you could have like a decentralized infrastructure where, let's say you could have different cloud computing things where there's no one door to kick in for the FBI to take you down. There's no one door they can kick in to shut you down from, your, podcasting services or something like that. And so, or you can create like an internet on this of the future and create this decentralized world. So this light bulb went off. I'm like, oh my God, you can make like a stock market on here. You could create like an app store on the blockchain, which they call dApps or dApps. You could do all this crazy stuff. And I was like, holy shit. Cause I only thought it was like the fake money back and forth thing. So this is late 2016. I'd already been shadow banned off Facebook, going from 1,200 subscribers a day to -10. And they completely made it so no one could watch any of my content. It really pissed me off. And so then I started going from being an end the Fed activist to, fuck it, just ignore them. Like they're going to blow themselves up at some point. They've already gotten in way over their heads. And so I thought that Bitcoin is, and to Chris's point, Bitcoin now has sort of morphed from being a digital currency, in my opinion, to being digital gold. So if you read the white paper, it's called, a peer-to-peer electronic cash. And what they've done is, this gets into a lot of like inside baseball, getting deep into the weeds, but essentially you had a split in the Bitcoin community where when there wasn't that many people using Bitcoin, the fees were like nothing because, it wasn't really congested. There was a 1 megabyte block. It wasn't a big deal. But then all of a sudden more people started using it. And there was one camp that said, hey, I just want to go make, let's just go make the blocks 2 megabytes or 4 megabytes or 20 megabytes, still not that big. And another group said, no, we want to take it. We want to take some of the code here, mush it around there, build this lightning network thing on top of it and do all this bullshit. And these two groups were just at loggerheads and nothing would happen. And so basically, since nothing would happen, in August of 2017, there was a fork on the Bitcoin main network, and which brought us Bitcoin Cash. And so the Bitcoin Cash people said, hey, we just want to make Bitcoin. Let's just make the block 2 megabytes. And then that will solve everything until we figure something else better. And Bitcoin Cash actually works very well right now. And again, not investment advice, but it actually works like Bitcoin. So in my opinion, Bitcoin Cash is philosophically, now this is going to piss off a lot of people. Bitcoin Cash is probably more philosophically more in line with what Bitcoin is than even Bitcoin.
Okay, before we get into the other ones, because we went real deep, real fast. Yeah. Okay, real deep. Focusing just on Bitcoin right now, okay? And you guys jump in if you have any questions.
I got one question.
Okay, go on.
Can you touch a Bitcoin? Is it tangible? Can you touch it? If I go into a strip joint, can I throw a strip of Bitcoins?
No, Grandpa, you can't touch a Bitcoin. It is a digital. It's digital, right?
I have a question.
I mean, like there was a guy in Brooklyn who sold Chuck E. Cheese coins as Bitcoins, and people were like buying them for $250.
Some people in the beginning, actually, there are some coins where people took Bitcoin and put them in these coins called cassatious coins, where they have a private key on them, and they're actually super, super valuable. And the first batch of them, they actually spelled it wrong, and so those ones are worth even more money. So there's actually like a premium to those. And so I know people that have those. Are called cassatious coins, but it's not actually like physical. It still could exist in the digital world. But yeah, it's just a digital product. But through the math, it really is probably the biggest technological invention of our lifetime, is how they were doing this through the blockchain. Because the big issue that could never be solved was something called the double spend. So it's, how do I say, let's say I was like Sam and I thought that Trump was going to be in the White House, and now I owe some people some money from like Johnny. So what if I only have $200, but I owe each of you $200? How do they know that so how do they know that, I'm talking about through the blockchain network, how do they know that I just don't send like each of you $200 real quick when I only have 200 through a digital network? So through how they mine Bitcoin into existence and all the proof of work and everything they're doing, they solve the puzzle of how to make sure you're not going to double spend. And that was really a very big technological problem without having any centralized third party sitting in the middle. So there's no bank that's sitting in the middle. There's no wirehouse or brokerage.
So basically what you're saying right here in stupid terms, because I'm a dumb person, is for the first time ever, there was a way to send something and have it actually, like when you mail something, you tend to mail like a copy of it, right? You don't necessarily email the actual thing. You email a copy, a physical copy, or like, let's say a picture of us. We took a picture of us and I wanted you to have it. I would email you the picture, but now we would both have the picture. But through Bitcoin, now it's actually, you actually send a piece, and there's not that piece. There's not the original piece still left with me, right? I send you $200. I'm out $200. That was never done before Bitcoin. Am I
and there's a record of what happened on the blockchain that anybody can go and verify and see exactly what happened. And I also want to let the listeners know, and this is something that tripped me up for a long time.
I own Bitcoin, a lot of Bitcoin. I'm supposed to say that, right? Chris, we're supposed to tell everybody that I'm balling in Bitcoin for legal reasons. I'm supposed to say that.
Well, if you're going to pump it, yeah.
Yeah. So I also want to let people know that you don't have to trade in one Bitcoin every single time. So you can break it down to, 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin. It's 8 zeros. And so you could send somebody hypothetically $20 in Bitcoin, $5 in Bitcoin. It doesn't have to be an entire Bitcoin. And that's a beginner thing that a lot of people don't actually, and I think the best way to get into it is do your own homework, do your own research. I am coming out with a course here and probably the next, couple weeks. It's already all made. I just got a guy editing it right now.
All right.
But
Question. This is important. Let's say I have a fucking heater on the stock market like I did yesterday. I get coked up. I get on the pool, bring a couple ladies home with me, end up in a ditch. Next day, don't remember my fucking Bitcoin password, amnesia. I don't want to end up like this cocksucker that can't get into his $220 million mistake. So where's the back door so this doesn't happen? Because once that happens, I'll be interested.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got to, there's ways to do things smart. Now, the guy, when he lost it at $200 million was back when Bitcoin was worth like pennies and nobody gave a fuck because, it was probably worth like, $50 at the time. And he was thinking, oh, well, who gives a shit? It's not worth the hassle with his like 7,000 Bitcoin. But now what you can do is you can have private keys. So you want to make sure you have your private keys backed up.
It's very important.
And then Max Kaiser, your guest that was on, was talking about a product where you could have multi-signature, where if you were to lose your key, there's other ways to be able to kind of remedy that. But what I do is you get like 18 to 24 words on there's different devices. So you can buy they're called hardware wallets. It's sort of like a glorified USB drive that can't be hacked, allegedly. So essentially with these devices, when you go to turn them on, they'll give you random words. It could be anything like Apple computer, probably an Apple computer would be a bad one to say. But anyways, there's 18 to 24 words they give you. You write down those seed words. Now I actually took like an engraving pen and on a piece of titanium and actually wrote them down in titanium. So in that way, no fire is going to destroy it unless it's like building 7 with jet fuel, then maybe, unless jet fuel gets on there, then maybe it'll go down. But with this, what you're doing is if I were to, lose my hardware wallet or I forget my password, whoever is in possession of those 18 to 24 words could then repopulate your account anywhere. So if you get all coked up ending in a ditch somewhere, you just have to remember where you put your seed phrase. And you obviously don't want to put it on.
What if I have amnesia? What if I have amnesia and I'm identified by my parents?
Yeah, but here's the question, Neff.
Yeah.
It's like, if you have amnesia, are you going to be able to fucking get your GameStop stock? Are you going to be able to go remember what fucking bank you're at?
Yeah.
How are you going to do?
You know what I do?
Yeah, it might be tough to wipe your ass
on my computer, and it automatically logs me in, and then my
but it logs you into your.
All I'm saying is this: I did 2-factor authentication with my iPhone one fucking time. Got coked up, couldn't remember the password. Called Apple.
So
I need back in. Yeah, and I said I need back in.
Oh, you eternalized this because Daddy fucked up. That's so funny.
I said I need back in. And they said, we can't help you. And I said, what do you mean you can't help me? You know it's me. And they go, we need the password. And I said, I've been doing business with you, Apple, for 25 fucking years. Look at my account. It's all there. And you know what I had to do? Create a new Apple ID and buy every fucking Belinda Carlisle song I ever downloaded that I didn't want anybody to know about, because I lost
for supporting Belinda Carlisle. Okay.
My point is, why can't we just make it a
Jesus
little
Christ.
simpler? Why can't we
Why,
just
dude?
Okay.
Because it's like why I have literally 1,000 passwords in my phone, because there's scumbags out there that could come and jack your swag. It's just the way it is.
And you can just go to a major online place like Coinbase if you wanted
do.
to,
That- I
or
have money on
Gemini, or
so am I
and-
good?
I mean, there's differing degrees of good. I mean, the best way to have it is like the way I was mentioning it, where it's on a hardware wallet or a paper wallet. But if you are on Coinbase and you have a significant amount of money, they do have like this cold storage wallet option that isn't as liquid. I think it
How
might
much
take
they
like
want for that? $29.95 a month, probably.
I think, I mean, for institutions, it's a shitload of money, but for, I think the everyday person that's using them, I don't think I mean, I don't work for them, so I don't know. I mean, I think it's
But
actually free.
Is Coinbase safe?
I mean, I don't want to say it's safe and then it goes. I mean, the safest thing if you have money that you would be pissed about losing, I wouldn't keep it on any exchange.
That's
so
every dollar I have, just so you know.
yeah. So if $1,000 doesn't mean a lot to you, keep $1,000 on there. If $500 would bankrupt you if you lost it, then don't keep it. Well, you probably shouldn't be on there. But
is there anywhere, Tim, that you feel that is super secure to hold your digital currency?
I have it on my own hardware wallet where I have the 18 to 24 words backed up, and that is the most secure way. And then I've got some on Coinbase and some on Cash App and some on Edge and some other places as well. And I feel, it's the other amounts are enough where, yeah, I mean, it would suck if I lost it, but it wouldn't be like the end of the world. So the core holdings that you're not going to trade out. I mean, I don't really do a lot of trading, and that's where we can get into some other things too. Like I also advocate you could actually do this through a Roth IRA, where then you have a tax-free gain, and then any trade you make, could then also not engage. And I was one of the pioneers in this. So actually I help people take parts of their IRAs and sometimes even convert it to Roth IRAs, where I have platforms where you can have a Roth IRA where you hold the private keys to your crypto through a self-directed IRA using like an IRA LLC. And actually I had to step down from I mean, it's kind of a crazy story, but I started working on this around August of 2017, where I was coming up with trust strategies for people that made a lot of money on Bitcoin. This is before the run up, thinking, hey, if it's at $3,000 and it's so high right now and people got in for pennies, and so I found different charitable trust strategies where you can put your money into a charitable trust. The trust pays you out. You don't pay any capital gains. You bypass, you get tax breaks on top of it. That's why Jim Cramer has a charitable trust. I mean, you think that guy's super charitable, allegedly. So, I mean, it's just, so I'm using their own rules against them. And then for the people that wanted to get in early, or the people that didn't get in early that want to, I mean, for me, anytime you're going to deal with like a potential home run situation, which also could go to zero too. I mean, got to throw that out there, but I'm very bullish on it long term, and you can have it in a Roth IRA, and then, boom, the gains are tax free. And if you're holding on to the private keys, and let's say they nationalize all the 401ks someday, you're holding on to the private keys, and until they have, Elon Musk, Neuralink, to read your mind and get your password, there's no way for them.
By the way, that cocksucker didn't help out our fucking short cause on this GameStop shit. Fuck him.
Was he like liking a tweet by AOC about?
No. He put one out. He just said GameStop stonk. 2 days, 3 days, and then it ripped up another 150 points after that. That's what got everybody in.
I'm surprised they haven't fined him for that, because he did the same shit last year. They fined him $20 million.
Yeah, that's garbage. But I mean, he's notoriously upset with the shorts, and that's just his personal payback. But
yeah, he liked one of AOC's tweets today. Yeah, AOC had a tweet, and I'm not even on Twitter. I got rid of my account, got rid of Facebook last week too. But he liked a tweet.
Damn, you're underground, Tim.
Yeah, well, I was on Facebook since 2004, and they're only gonna fuck with me so much. But you can't, and then a lot of my friends got kicked off 2 days later, anyways. But yeah, he liked a tweet where she said something like we should ban short selling, and he liked that. But he's posted different images of shorts, and I think he sent some of the big hedge funds guys pairs of shorts.
And he charged fucking $39.99 for those shorts too. And
here's the thing that's really great about Bitcoin too, and what they're trying to do, right, is what they're trying to do is take away the middleman, which is these banks, right? So we can go peer to peer with our wallets. And what makes it amazing is you don't have to wait like 6 or 7 days for your money to be transferred. All will be deposited in your bank account in 3 to 5 days. It is instantaneously. Now I know that we have, Venmo and all those things that people can send a little money here, but I think that technology came out of what Bitcoin and digital currencies, which was instantaneously being able to send
Without
money wherever
fees,
you want.
Obviously, without fees. That's the idea, right?
Now, Bitcoin does have fees, and when the network's congested, the fees actually can get super high. And this next topic, and maybe we'll shelve it, is more of like you'll have to go, if you go to the tinfoil hat episode that we did with Sam, I get into like the Bilderberg connections into Bitcoin, but there actually is yes, there is some. That's why I was getting into the Bitcoin Cash story, because they sort of solved the fee problem. And what Bitcoin wants to do is they want to have this Lightning network sit on top of Bitcoin, where let's say
What do you mean by Lightning Network?
So, and this is probably more of a Max Kaiser type topic, but let's say the five of us, make bets back and forth. So what we do is we create a Lightning channel, and then we, let's say we each throw a certain amount in that channel, but the trades never get settled on the chain. They're like basically just between the five of us here. But then eventually, if we want to settle up, then the fee gets paid when we settle up. So it's like a super cheap way to interact, supposedly, when it's not really, I think it's only sort of like in very beginning stages, not like everybody's using this right now. But the problem is, eventually what I think is going to happen is the banks are going to become the Lightning nodes. They're going to KYC you, know your customer, Patriot Act, all sorts of stuff. And one thing they're trying to do now is they're trying to say, if you send $3,000 from Coinbase into another wallet, whether it's your wallet or somebody else's, you have to then identify who that wallet is a potential regulation that they're trying to foist upon us right now, which, in the intermediate term would probably be bad news for Bitcoin. But in the long run, it's the honey badger of money. You can't stop it. It's, for me, it's more like long-term savings would be going into Bitcoin. It's not, you shouldn't be, if you need to pay rent next month, you shouldn't be putting your money in there. If you've only got $1,000, you should be buying storable food and ammo and guns and things like that during these times. And maybe just put, and to Howie's point, I mean, the best thing to do is dollar cost average into this. So a lot of people got in late 2017. People were calling me up, asking me about Bitcoin. I'm like, what do you know about Bitcoin? They're like, oh, I hear you can make a bunch of money. And that's all they knew about it. And then those people, went all in with their $10,000 or whatever. And then they, shit their pants when Bitcoin lost 80%, sold out. And that's the story of what's been happening over and over and over again. But, I do believe eventually, I think every institution is going to have, at least 2% of their assets in Bitcoin. Right now, they have hardly any of it in there. And as central banks keep printing trillions of dollars, I think we're going to see more money going into cryptocurrencies. I mean, last year.
What about the Discords? Oh, go ahead.
What do you think Bitcoin could get up to? I mean, I've heard crazy numbers. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think eventually infinity. I mean, eventually, if the dollar crashes hard enough and it's not worth anything, then that sounds like a crazy statement, but you've got guys like Klaus Schwab, the COVID-19 Great Reset, writing a book that says the dollar's days are basically numbered, and we're working our way off the dollar reserve standard. And other countries are getting screwed by this arrangement right now, because if you're in, I feel like saying China, like I'm Donald Trump or something, but if you're in China, what's going on is you print fake money, you make like real goods, even if they're crap goods, you sell them to America. America gives you IOUs that aren't even like basically worth anything, bonds, and they're getting fake IOUs. We're getting real stuff. So I think we're getting the better end of the deal, getting real stuff. And so if you have America benefits greatly by being the world reserve currency at the detriment to other countries. And so I don't think that this scheme is going to last forever. I mean, there's been several. I mean, at one point Britain was a world reserve currency.
Hold on. Are you talking the scheme? You're talking the petrodollar? Is that what you're talking about? But
yeah,
do you think Bitcoin, and if you don't know what the petrodollar is, it's basically U.S. currencies backed in oil. It used to be backed by gold. It's not backed by gold anymore. Nixon and the Federal Reserve took us off it and put us on Saudi oil because there was unlimited oil. Okay, so you can put unlimited money. And that is what is driving down the dollar and the value of the dollar. And what people think is eventually the dollar is going to completely crash because you have Iran, Russia, and China both trying to sell their oil in a different currency, which would completely collapse the US dollar, which is why digital currencies. But do you think digital currency will hurt like China in the long run? I think it will help everybody, right?
I mean, a lot of the Bitcoin mining is actually done in China. And the big reason for that is the biggest factor is energy cost. And so in China, you have people who they want to get their money out of the yuan over there. They've got a totalitarian government. And so if you are in China, there's people that are willing to, let's say, I don't know what it costs to mine a Bitcoin. Let's say it costs $32,000 to mine a Bitcoin. Let's say Bitcoin was trading at 30,000. I'm just making up those numbers. You'd be losing $2,000 per Bitcoin mine. People are willing to lose money in China to get their currency out of their currency into something that can't be tracked. I mean, it can be tracked, but with Bitcoin, they can't stop the transmissions of the ones and zeros. They can't stop people from doing math. Now in America, with Common Core, they try to stop people from doing math and stop us from breathing. And I'm sure at one point they'll probably make Bitcoin illegal, but they make lots of things illegal. They made drugs illegal when the price of drugs went up. They make alcohol legal and the price of alcohol went up. So
thing, dude, there is always going to be a black market for whatever they do. I mean, with this stuff with GameStop, we're going to see how the reaction to that is. But
and we can get into something called DEXs. So that's a decentralized exchange where basically it's run off of a protocol where there is no, Robinhood or TD Ameritrade or Schwab in the middle. It's just a peer-to-peer electronic, like decentralized platforms. And now those are starting to get a much bigger share of the pie. They either call it DeFi or DEXs. And it's very, very interesting what they're doing and really revolutionary, where you can have a trading platform that's not run by anybody. And there's certain, cryptocurrencies where you can provide liquidity to do things, and it starts getting, pretty wonky. But basically for the listener, there's ways where you can cut out all the middlemen and run exchanges where nobody can stop it unless they cut down the entire internet, which if they do that, also, your money is fucked and your stock's probably fucked at that point too. And everything else is going to go to shit. So
question.
No porn.
Question. Can't Bitcoin be manipulated just like any other asset? I mean, haven't we seen discords, shifting the market and these huge swings? So, I mean, obviously it's volatile as shit. So how do you change that?
Well, I mean, the bigger an asset gets, the harder it is going to be to manipulate. So with Bitcoin, when it was, in February, like worth $200 billion market cap, it's a lot easier to manipulate than when it's 600 billion. And if you have something that's worth 5 trillion, it's a lot harder to manipulate than when it's 200 billion. And so it's going to be getting harder and harder and harder. But okay, great, you manipulate it down. I'm dollar cost averaging, and now I buy more every month. So I don't care if you manipulate it down. And this is what I told a guy today, and actually he asked me about Ripple, and I tore into him, so I felt sort of bad. But I had a guy, I asked somebody, okay, let's say you put $50,000 into Bitcoin. What if it's down to 10,000? What would you do? And if their answer isn't, I'm going to buy as much as I fucking can, you shouldn't be in Bitcoin, because when Bitcoin goes down, I'm like, hallelujah, you should be getting more into it. If that's not your response, then you shouldn't be in it to begin with, or you should be dollar cost averaging. Couldn't agree more,
dude. And the selling off is stupid. People sell it off. It's a hold. And, if I would have known that I was going to be able to do well with podcasting, I would have bought when it was $4,500 this time last year, and now it's around 33 right now, got up to almost 45. And I just think you should hold it, because what's going to happen is the people are going to panic when it starts shooting down, and they're going to sell it off because they're going to take a stock market view of how to do this thing. But I just feel like the game is to hold on, and if it gets low enough, buy more, because I just, out of nowhere, this thing could just explode up to, some people are talking 50, 100, some people are talking 150,000 by the end of the year.
JP Morgan has $125,000 target on it. So, I mean,
yeah, Citibank is like 300. So
yeah. I mean, I my broker works for one of the very large firms, and I called him last week and I said, dude, what's the deal with Bitcoin? Is it legit? What's the deal? And he said, every time it dips, buy it. He goes, don't throw everything. He goes, it's like, he kind of compared it to, if Tim's starting to be a CFP, you deal with different portfolios, and portfolios, depending on age, you're going to have a certain amount of growth stocks, value stocks, corporate bonds, cash. And we always used to put like 3 to 5% of something called managed futures, which I won't even get into, but that's where Bitcoin's going right now. I mean, this guy works for a very large firm, and he's like, yeah, most of my clients have a little bit. And he was like, no, it's legit. Buy it on the dips. And he said it's a long-term investment, but he loves it.
Same.
Well, good for him, because he's one of the few ones. I mean, because I was out there telling people at conferences in like late or early 2017, like, yeah, I'm looking at trying to create like Bitcoin IRAs, and like the other financial advisors laughing at me. I had a big managed futures guy from AQR come to my office in early 2017, and he's like, hey, we got this managed future currency fund, and we have every currency in the world. I'm like, well, we don't have the best currency. And he goes, what do you mean? We've got every. And he was so offended. I'm like, you don't have. I'm like, what do you mean we don't have the best currency? I'm like, well, you don't have Bitcoin. And the guy just completely laughed me out, and afterwards I sold all their fucking fund. That was complete dog shit at the time. But
meanwhile, he's selling cotton and peanuts and orange juice.
Yeah. Meanwhile, then Bitcoin then 20x'd after that conversation, and so who's laughing now? But
managed futures is a joke.
Can you
The
trade options?
reason we sold them is because you get paid. The commissions are huge on managed futures. Huge.
Can you trade options on Bitcoin?
Yes. I mean, I haven't, but I did have a client recently who got in super early and was looking. Actually, this guy had taken, his parents gave him a bunch of money to buy a home, and then he took it all and put it in Bitcoin, and now like 5 years later bought a home. But
it's because I'm sure not only me, but our listeners would love to know, where can I start, put money in an account and trade options on Bitcoin?
I don't even want to even say where you can do it, because I don't want to.
What is it? The dark web? We're all adults.
No, I mean
fucking web.
I believe the largest buy exchange, I believe, is Deribit. I've never. It's I think it's DERABIT. I don't have anything to do. I'm not. You should, if you're getting into Bitcoin, and for the person out there, I would not be getting into options.
I own it.
I'm saying like if you're on OnlyFans and that's how you're making money, which good for you, that you should not be going and buying it through and options. Is just super, super risky to do that. The best thing to do is just dollar cost average, buy a little bit, have an amount that you can afford to lose, and you can go on Cash App and buy like $50 a day if you want. You can go and buy,
buy a little bit, man. I don't care. It's like,
come on, man. We do have different people out there that have different investment, ideas. There are people that want a dollar cost, but there's also people that want to, push. And I just want to know where I can fucking do it. I guess that person's me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I think
I want to trade options on this shit.
I got it up right now.
Yeah. Deribit is the largest Bitcoin futures and options trading by volume, I believe.
Deribit.
So.
Okay.
And I'm not recommending that to people in case the SEC.
We are not recommending that here, guys. So that's it. Bitcoin. We're going to dive into this all the time. Tim, we'd love for you to hang out. If you got jam, I understand, but we're going to get into the Ass to Ass brothers and their fucking picks of the week. And we'd love to have you and hear your opinion. But so
very informative.
Very informative. I got a lot out of it. Tim's great. We talk all the time. He's on the Union of the Unwanted. So, we got 20 minutes, guys. Throw us your game. What are the stocks that you like this week? I don't know what legally we got. Now I'm worried about legalese on stuff.
These are just our opinions.
And you guys aren't licensed, so I literally can't do it. But you guys, I can.
Okay, you want to jump off, Tim? I don't want to get you.
No, I can be here just commenting on things, but I just can't.
Can't.
I got my Series 7,
brought up, that's fine.
Okay. These are the Ass to Ass brothers hot picks of the week.
Well, I can just imagine the SEC coming someday, like the Ass to Ass brothers recommended this, and it's like, really, if you took your advice from the Ass to Ass brothers, I mean, that should
That's our
hidden.
That's our hidden.
You should be safe.
Educational purposes only.
Yeah. There will be a disclaimer on the screen somewhere around here, and at the beginning and at the end.
Disclaimer, real quick. Here's the disclaimer, dude. Investing is risky. Invest at your own peril. And don't invest more than you can lose, okay? Be smart. Don't trust anybody here.
Don't buy Coke out of the same blender. Yeah, we got it.
Dude, you got to do your investigation, and you have to look into it.
It's called due diligence.
Do your due diligence, man.
Howie,
Roll
what do you
the
like?
dice, baby. Roll the dice. Chris,
first of all, what do the Ass brothers think?
The Ass brothers, I'll tell you what, myself and Ass 2 over here, we've been betting against all these stocks all week. I mean, he and I both, we've been buying what you call puts. We're betting on shit to tank, and we've been doing pretty good at it.
Yeah. How many puts are you holding on GameStop right now? 4. Okay. And what are the strikes?
I still got the 120, 20s, and I believe the 90s. I think.
Okay. I'm only
The
holding
120s were up a little bit today, nicely.
No, the 40s were up too. But
Yeah.
I just to give you guys some perspective, when this stock was going crazy up and down, Howie and I were desperately trying to buy puts, and the spreads were so wide, it was like
Horrible.
too dangerous. And at one point, they just completely disappeared.
Yeah.
So you really couldn't do anything because
Sam, what
of
that means is Sam, is you could buy it for 80, but you'd have to sell it for 15. That was the ask was 80, the bids were 15. It was crazy.
Yeah, and typically spreads are going to be like, oh, you want to buy a $10 put? Well, it's $10.60 to the bid, and the ask is maybe 11. So there's a 40-cent difference. These were swinging in $40, $50. So it was crazy. But yeah, we're both still short. It would be nice to see it go down.
I actually still have the AMC. Because we were talking about earlier, I did dollar cost average as soon as I bought it this morning, I'm not shitting you, it just dropped like a fucking, the second I hit it, it just tanked.
Well, and that was after I told you I had puts on it. So I don't know why.
I know, but I made a nice play yesterday where I hit it at 13, got out at 16. So today it drops down to like 1180. I jump in with both hands. The second I do, that fucking thing was like just a school bus full of kids just going right off a cliff, man. It was terrible.
Meanwhile, you and I are doing all the hard work trading, and Evan's great. He'll come in and say,
I'm giving you news updates.
XBR just got halted. Oh shit, they're talking about this on Wall Street Bet. And we're like, Sam, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm running around Chinatown trying to buy some gold.
Yeah.
I did buy gold. Neff, I got 2 baby kids I got to deal with, man. I can't play fucking touch butt with the ass brothers all day. Okay? You guys are sending dick pics to each other all day.
Buddy,
I'm just trying to
you're
survive.
not buying gold because it's a hedge. You bought gold because it had a scorpion on it, dude. You don't even.
That was a pretty cool piece.
Goodbye.
It's not a scorpion.
It's a dragon.
It's a dragon. Whatever. How much did you pay?
Dude. And it's cool.
How much did you pay for that piece of? No.
Don't worry about it. I'm
Please
not
tell
giving
me-
out my business.
Okay, but please tell
He
me.
lost it. He lost it in a boating accident. So it's good.
I just want
But
to
I
know
think-
it's a legitimate transaction, and you didn't give this guy money, but you were like, "Hey, pull open the fucking trench coat, and you got just fucking double
No,
dogs."
dude, I wasn't
Something you were
buying
trading.
watches from some dude on the
dildos.
corner.
Gold-plated dildos.
No, dude, I bought a couple. I'm gonna keep buying more, dude. I'm gonna hold on to that and hope, down the line that I have something to give my kids.
Back to what we're doing. Let me explain this. Like there's 12 or 13 of these stocks got halted today. In other words, you couldn't buy these things through like 3 or 4 firms. The best way I can describe these stocks right now that are being just blasted up by these Wall Street Bets guys. You remember back in school, Sam, like it was right around Christmas, you didn't have any money, you're in college, and you and your buddy say, hey, man, let's get the old airplane thing going again. We're pilots. Now, if we both get 2 co-pilots under us, $25 each, and they get 4, we can tell them that they get $200 at the end of the week. Remember that Ponzi scheme back in college?
Yeah.
That's kind of what this reminds me of, man. It's short, it's fun, and when it ends badly for about 90% of all the people involved.
Yeah,
That's
I got a
what it
buddy
is.
that bought
We're not talking about your dick, are we? No, it's short, it's fun, it's badly. No, just kidding. Sorry, but
No, actually, that's a pretty good analogy. Maybe that's what I was thinking. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
But do you think it's probably important to explain when you buy 4 put options, like what 4 put options means to the audience? So you're really buying. So okay, sorry about
No,
that.
I
Okay.
mean,
But
we
you are
did our
Sam already
best.
forgot.
I did. That's the bet that's gonna go down, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So
Oh,
each option is actually 100 contracts. So 4 is 400. Okay.
We did all this on the last episode, and
Hey,
again,
dude,
Sam
we're
doesn't
gonna
remember.
keep saying the same stuff,
Okay.
dude.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
just
we gotta
all
repeat it. We
need
gotta
to-
ingrain it in their heads.
All we need to remember, just like Tim said, is it is a contract. You're not holding the security. It is a derivative that has a finite amount of time, either a homosexual delight, which we call an FD. Hey, that's what it's called, man. A weekly.
Is that called a Tootsie Roll?
Okay. Yeah.
By the
Or-
way, Sam, I don't know if you knew this, but yesterday, these Reddit guys, the whole crew, 2 million of them, got shut down. They kicked them off of Reddit. You want to know why?
3.5 million now.
For 2 words. They said 2 words over and over. They kept calling themselves.
Why
Yes.
you gotta say that?
We don't wanna
Dude,
get-
you knew you
That's-
weren't supposed to say that.
All you had to
Beat
say was
that.
homosexual.
I mean, you're just unbelievable, Howie.
all you had to say
What
was
time is this
homosexual.
at? Okay, I gotta fucking read this, dude. Evan, you gotta beep it at 1 hour and 12 minutes. Write that down.
Howie,
God,
all you
no
have to
shit.
do is
I just
call-
told you I got like a fucking market, and you're like,
I
your
didn't
drunk
call
grandpa.
anyone that. I just explained
You
the 2
can't,
words.
dude. Oh, do you think the AI knows that? Like, oh well, he wasn't
No.
calling anybody that. He just said it. You don't understand. AI is like looks like all those really angry Antifa lesbians. Okay, they're just angry with blue mohawks and multiple, not shaving their armpits, and they're sensitive to everything. So
Okay,
you
but
just-
going back to Howie's point, that was the reason initially they got pulled. And I thought, okay, they're going to go after him for any reason they can to shut this group
Yeah,
down.
I
That was
know what it's
initially it.
like. I know what
8
that's like.
Yeah, but we're talking about the big picture. We're talking about a stock that's up 3,000% and pulling the Discord. Well, I don't want to call them a Discord, but the group that is
The
in
subreddit.
charge, right, in charge of making this happen, whether collectively, doing it themselves or just sharing tips. So I think that was the initial move. They're like, this is how we'll shut down Reddit. We'll say they're using the gay word and also the intellectually challenged word, and that's how we'll shut them down.
Unbelievable.
And it didn't, but it didn't work. They were back up within 30 minutes.
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
back
a
up.
couple hours.
So
Yeah, the first thing, the R word and the F word. Jesus Christ.
right,
Now,
so
look
anyway,
what you
we
me
got-
saying.
Well, I do
We got-
think Discord also banned them as
You're
well.
like the
so-
Yeah.
drunk
No,
uncle at the
Discord-
fucking wedding, Howie.
could we get back to this? So again, everybody understands an option is either a
Is
weekly.
everybody
monthly-
dating black guys now? Uncle Howie, shut up. Shut up, Uncle Howie. It's a wedding. It's 2021. Don't say that.
Oh, God.
Anywho,
And Howie was correct in the last episode I did listen to where he mentioned something like 90% of these do expire worthless. So
well, yeah,
it is
because
very
they're lotto
important.
tickets. Especially if you're buying OTM like options that are like 5 cents. Yeah, I mean they hit, but that's the risk. Anyway,
Now people
Howie and I
know
both
people
have
know what
points.
OTM means. You want to? I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah,
another.
we told them out of the
Okay.
money, out of the money.
All right.
Out of the money are just far unreachable, lofty, targets. But
Which is
sometimes
what
you can-
Melvin Capital should have done with call
They sh-
options on
You're right.
GameStop.
They should have hedged the other way, and they didn't, obviously.
Yeah, and
So
I like the way that Robinhood came out and said, we're really trying to save the retail trader. Let me tell you something. Those guys trading at Melvin fucking Capital. Some of those guys took the short bus. They have no clue to what the fuck is going on. They didn't hedge themselves at all.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
allegedly. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Exactly. So
Dude, he's
anyway,
a Jets fan. We gotta explain stuff for him.
Howie and I are holding puts, but yes, we are.
And
So
I
we
still
can
have
hold them for.
AMC. Hopefully I can sell AMC in the morning.
You know what? Sell them to me. I've got puts on it.
I think I've took 10 years off my life this
You
last
want me
Look
to
at the
close?
ass brothers taking
You want-
care of it.
Do you want me to close my position early and take
Look at my
the
hair.
shares?
It's up
No,
30%.
man,
It's
no,
up 30%.
listen, I'm gonna sell it, turn around, maybe buy some puts, and we can root for that thing to tank.
Howie, how much are you going to be able to make with your puts should GameStop drop? Because yours are much more aggressive than mine are.
Oh, I mean, but it depends on how much. I think this thing has to get back to I want to see it down to like $50 or $60.
Well, when it would dip down to 119, what were you looking at? Did you look?
The ones that I paid 6.5 for were up to about 8.5.
Okay. Wow. Baller alert. Baller alert.
Ball nothing, man. Trust me. That's
Ass Brothers love
It's-
baller alert.
it's
dog.
fake. It's fake.
No,
We
I
wanna
mean,
see,
it
I want
takes
to
a
see
lot
this
of.
thing up nicely in the morning, and then tomorrow 2:00, bam, just
You guys need a live. You guys need a live show like while you're trading, like Dave Portney and
Well, I think you guys are underestimating how hard it is to pull the trigger on. What was your most expensive option, Howie?
Oh,
7,000.
yeah.
That's not an easy decision to make. To just say I'm buying a $7,000 contract, and I
Yeah,
need
especially
happen.
when you're in a small apartment and your girlfriend's like 20 feet away. How we doing, honey? And
Yeah.
she turns around, I'm fucking pouring sweat. I'm turning red.
I haven't slept in a week.
Yeah, we're doing good. We're killing it.
trading this stock, and the amount of time I've spent is that feeling when you're doing drugs and the sunlight comes up and the party.
Oh no! How about when the birds start chirping?
Oh, it's the worst.
The Coke birds. Coke,
Right.
you're a loser. Coke,
Right. But it just feels like you want it to end, but you're like, I can't, because this thing could move 100 points at any second, and you're
Yeah.
just pounding coffee. You're just your cats are talking to you, and you're just like, when's this gonna fucking end? I thought this was gonna be over.
That's the funniest thing ever. Your cats are like, dude, we're gonna be homeless. We're gonna be
Dude,
homeless.
We're 5 days into the biggest short squeeze of all time. I think people don't realize that in the investing world. This is the unicorn. This is the donkey dildo of fucking green spikes that you're never going to see again in your fucking life. I mean, Howie, the biggest thing on record that I know was from 1910, and some old asshole had a carriage, and there were like fucking pieces of hay in it or some shit, and I don't know, went down to the mercantile exchange and fucked some other guy, and it went up 10x. Google it, Evan. I'm paraphrasing here. The point is, we've never seen anything this big. So
I do. Have
No,
something
man.
similar.
It's like you go in at 9:30 and you've been ass blasted at least 8 to 15 times before 4:00.
Okay. Do you guys have some stocks you want to do? I got a jam soon, dude.
yeah.
Hold on.
Howie, what do you like?
I'm going to throw one. As far as buying a stock, I'm going to throw one out there, and it's Intercept Pharmaceuticals, ICPT.
ICP. You want people to invest in ICP.
ICPT.
Is that what you want?
It's pharmaceuticals.
Bye.
It's pharmaceuticals, not the ones that Sam's used to. Actually, it's pancreatic cancer or something like that. I don't know what the fuck they do. But
Forget it. I'm in. You already sold me it. I don't know what they do.
yeah, doesn't matter. The bottom line is here's what I like. The thing
I don't know what my highest conviction trade does, but okay.
Yeah, it went from 140 down to like 25, and it just has good support level here. It's a good buy at this price, right around 35, 36 bucks a share.
Okay.
I think you can get back to 80 or 90.
All right.
That's it, man.
I got two. The first is a small cap play. I might
Hey,
have
Evan,
mentioned
can
it.
you look these up real quick, or
Yep.
next week when they say, can we look them up so people can freeze
Hey,
in?
just so you know, everything doesn't happen the next day like GameStop. Some of these things take time. So don't expect this to turn 3,000% in a week.
Yeah,
like
Chris, you should
GameStop.
just retire and just have like your jersey on the
That's what I'm
rafters
saying.
for
It's over.
for this.
It's
Yeah.
over.
Set the
but
bar super high here.
The play is GMBL, and it is a gaming stock. Obviously, DraftKings has taken off, Penn National. GMBL is a esports play. So basically, Fortnite, League of Legends, people are going to start betting on this shit, and it's going to be the next thing that people bet on. And this company,
Now, would you hold this stock?
I'm already holding it. I wouldn't.
Well, I
pitch
mean,
a
like, are
bitch.
you going to
I
short
would never
it?
pitch a bitch.
Okay.
This is. I only promote things that I hold. Okay.
Respect.
I am some fucking
Hey,
schnoll.
dude, I didn't mean you to pitch a bitch. My bad.
You just said that people are going to start betting on watching kids play Fortnite.
They,
In other words,
Hey,
It'll
real
happen.
quick,
Huge.
Howie, you're having a senior moment. I just want you
Like,
to know
instead
that.
of, you
You're
know,
having a senior moment right now because that's 100% going to happen.
Yeah.
like Kansas City's in the Super Bowl, you know, they're laying 3 points. I can either bet on that
Howie,
or I
you're
could
ar-
bet on like little Junior sitting in
Howie,
his sofa
today's-
playing with his dick with one hand,
You
with a
are a
joystick in the
senior
other.
citizen.
Howie, the NFL isn't going to exist in 10 years because all these little fragile kids are concerned their children are going to end up broken. Okay.
And let's make sure we don't Google image search ICP either. I don't want to see what.
Real quick, there'll always be poor kids, Chris. They're willing to smash their brains in for dollars.
The point
Let's hope
is,
so.
what is the stock trading at right now? There's two plays here. There's GMBL, and there's also a warrant attached to it, which is also another derivative that we should speak of in case we have it. So you can buy the common stock.
How much is it trading at?
Pull it up,
Eight.
Devin.
$8.03.
What are the warrants at? GMBLY? Probably like 350, somewhere around there.
You don't want to buy warrants. Jesus Christ.
Actually, you do. In this case, you do.
Oh, here we
Okay.
go. This is what we're
the
talking. Let's make some bets.
The warrants are not trading in line with the common. So I am pro warrant. Just remember, if you don't know what a warrant is, it is a $5 option. The exercise price at the warrant is $7.20. So there is value in the warrant. And
what does the warrant represent?
okay, a warrant, like,
Toilet
remember how we
paper.
were talking about options, derivatives? A
Yeah.
warrant is a 5-year option. So you own the stock, but you have the option to trade it in for an agreed upon price of $7.20 in this case. But it's a 5-year option. So I like them a lot. And the main reason is, and I didn't know this company already has a deal with the Philadelphia Eagles, Arsenal, the Arsenal soccer team, and they own 3 out of 5 of the esports arenas. I didn't even know there were arenas.
Yeah, there are, dude.
Yeah, well, they already own 3 out of 5.
I might
of them.
just buy some stock of this and just sit on it.
That's what I'm doing. That's why you buy the warrants.
He doesn't pitch a bitch, Sam.
Thank
Come on,
you.
John. I will never pitch a pitch.
I
My
wouldn't do that
bad.
to you.
God.
The point
I'm
is,
sorry. We got people having senior moments and pitching bitches here.
Will the AI allow pitching bitches or donkey dildos in there too?
the point is, it got listed uplisted on the Nasdaq last summer, I want to say. So it's still young. It's got I mean, if you believe in these fucking nerds, what are they making? $100 grand right now to win the trophy of Fortnite?
Yeah, dude. I'm in.
Probably making more than that.
It might have been $1 million.
Okay,
Yeah,
$1 million. So we're getting at the bottom. And then
Pussification of America.
I've got one other one. I also hold this, and I noticed it came up on Evan's short interest. It's called KLDO. It is a microbiome metabolic therapy play.
Did you just say DILDO? What the?
No, KLDO.
Oh, Fortnite, $3 million was the winner. The champion got $3 million in Fortnite.
I'm going to buy. I don't even know how to buy stocks. I'm going to go buy some right now.
Okay, so we haven't gotten you set up with an account.
No, I have to do
Okay,
that.
well, what did we learn after today's trading? What account are you not going to set up with?
Robinhood,
Correct.
even though it's on my phone right now. So I got
And
to
you can
figure
get
it out.
get a Roth IRA, so it's tax free.
I'm going to do it.
So
We
what I
got to
said
do the
last week, we
IRAs.
talked about that last week.
Here's KLDO. Basically, Flagship Ventures, which was the incubator of this company, they brought Moderna to market. They still own 20% of Moderna. Obviously, we know that they created one of the COVID vaccines. Do we all know that? You didn't.
I
know
want
that,
anything.
Sam?
I won't even touch
not
that.
taking
stuff.
And their ticker symbol is mRNA, like an mRNA vaccine is
I never
the
caught on to that.
so
I like
mRNA.
Anyway,
Boo,
yeah,
vaccine
yeah.
people.
it is a COVID treatment for mild to moderate COVID. So it is a COVID treatment that you don't have to inject. It's not the only thing they do, but
I'll buy it. I caught COVID like 6 times.
I have
Yeah.
a feeling there's going to be a market for this, and obviously there's no rush for. My biggest concern when I talked to my guy was, what about FDA approval? and they're fast tracking anything COVID related right now. So I think it's a very distinct possibility that we could be walking around with the COVID sniffles in 3 years, and we're not going to get injections, and we're just going to be able to pop a pill to kill our COVID sniffle. So I like them both.
Is that before or after dicks grow out of our head from the vaccine that we're all taking right now?
That's after.
Okay.
In fact, you take the pill, you put it in the head of your dick. That's attached.
Yeah,
to
that's
your
how
head.
you do. You have your dickhead snort the pill. You crush it up like you're doing a line, and you snort up your vaccine.
And then when you're done, you take said dick and put it in your mouth and just start sucking on it.
Or if you watch the South Park episode, you eat some gluten and then it goes flying around the room. I don't know if anyone saw that episode of South Park.
I need to been there, done that. Yeah, Howie's like walking COVID death. Next one, dude.
That's it. I only brought 2 to the table. I'd like to hear what Evan has, because all of a sudden Evan's given me all this great information, and I was like, Evan's trading?
So great. Evan's the good-looking one, and he's got the brains. We're all fucked.
No brains
I feel like
here.
we're the evil stepsisters, right? And all we want to do is just rack Evan and make him feel like shit because he's way more fuckable than us.
Nope. I'm riding this Wall Street bets chain. I think that there is a lot of pissed off Redditors right now, and they're going to want their revenge, and they're just going to try to take down these hedge funds. I think GameStop might go up. AMC might go up. Naked, Express, all that stuff. I think it's going to go up, but I do think there's going to be a hard crash at some point. So set your stop losses. Make sure you get out when you can. But I think this thing is it's still got time to explode. Lastly, Dogecoin, we're up 400% today. So let's get that running. And that's all I got. Dogecoin.
Oh,
yeah, everybody's talking about it.
Up 400% today.
All the crypto pirates. Well, all the amateur, or the kids call dumb money.
It's all it's bullshit, but
yeah,
Tim,
it's fun.
Tim, who do you like?
I mean, the thing is with me being licensed right now. I mean, I could give like sectors and things like that, but I mean, I'm not doing trading as much as like long-term portfolio allocations and doing planning and shit like
What
that.
do you think
But
of
it's
Monero.
Yeah, what do you think about lighting the menorah every fucking Hanukkah?
Hey, just because I have a big nose and glasses and curly hair and work in finance does not mean I'm Jewish, but well, I'm not. But anyways,
can you turn to the left real quick?
So I don't
No,
know.
you're not
good.
Ari Shafir. You're not even
Okay.
close. By the way, I know a lot of small-nosed Jewish people. A couple chicks I was doing blow with. It was hard for them to do the blow. So just
So Monero is a cryptocurrency that can't be tracked, can't be traced, can't be surveilled, and so I think at some point it's going to be made illegal, and so at that point the price would probably go down. But then again, the people that are buying Monero are much different than the people that are buying Ripple, and so the people that are buying Monero are probably more like long-term holders. And so eventually, if you want to have money that can't be tracked, traced, or surveilled, basically the Bitcoin of that genre is Monero, and they've got a very big market dominance when it comes to privacy coins. But it's more of a longer term hold, in my opinion. It's harder to buy. Most of the exchanges don't have it. It's probably going to be made illegal at some point. But imagine this. So if I send somebody Bitcoin, and they then see my address, they can look up, see exactly how much is in my wallet. And imagine if you're a business and we're at the point where we're paying people in Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden you're a competitor, and you can say, oh, well, I see that you paid Bob X amount, and maybe I want to go steal him and poach him, so I'm just going to offer him a tiny bit more, or I'm going to go. I mean, so so it's very creepy if someone gives you a check, and then they can then look at your account number and then see what you have in your bank account, see the record of files. So I actually recommend that every time somebody gets new Bitcoin, they just open up a new wallet, unless it's on like Coinbase or something. So that way it's a little bit harder to track yourself. There's several things you want to do. Like my phone number, I don't even have, like I had a guy who tried to SIM card swap me, but I'm like, yeah, I'm using a burner number, asshole. So you can't even, my phone number, that like when Sam texts me on Signal, that's not even my real number. And so there's things that you can do. So then that way it's tied to a number that's not even mine. So if someone were to call into AT&T or Verizon or whoever, pretend that they're me, and they get my phone number, it's not even attached to anything. So there's more advanced things you can do to be safe on this. But with Monero, it's probably like a smaller percentage of your crypto holdings. I mean, maybe like 5-10% of, maybe even 20% of your crypto holdings. You'd want something like that.
That's the one that you need for like Silk Road, like if I want to buy a child, I get that one. Is what
Oh
you're saying.
Jesus!
Oh, come on.
Christ.
I'm serious. Like
You guys
if
are like just like this guy went back.
I didn't tell you what kind of. I didn't even tell you what
Well, the
color
thing is,
I wanted.
there are
Like a-
legitimate reasons why you would want to be private, especially in this day and age. And I did an interview with a guy who was a Harvard PhD, Yale MBA, this Asian guy in a suit, and he was telling me the benefits of Monero. And so it's a very unique. It's actually was the most popular BitChute video I've ever done. But it's. For me, it's having that someday it's going to be made illegal and it's going to be very hard to get it when it's illegal. And so I'd rather have it now before it gets illegal at some point. But it is tougher to get. So you can't go on Coinbase and go get it.
Not anymore. We know you. You can make it happen.
Yeah.
Well,
he
I mean,
knows the
there's-
guy in the corner.
Yeah, I mean, most of the cryptocurrency I just buying and holding. I'm not selling. I'm looking.
I'm not either, dude. I'm holding it till I'm gonna let it run, dude, for a while.
Why do you? What's going on, Tim? Because I just met you today, but like, do you have people after you?
No, I don't have anybody after me. But
Okay.
I mean, it's
No,
Right.
what is that question? No, Tim is like me. He's in the truth community,
Right.
and we're what the kids would call, or your grandma would call, or Howie would call a conspiracy theorist. So, like, the whole thing is that this is slowly but surely they're trying to figure out how to, control everything at all times, and so there's all these options. I do believe that the way they're going to control cryptocurrencies through fees and stuff like that. But Monero is something that's done. See, I think personally that, I mean, Tim knows more than I do, but I have these spider senses of what I trust. And I just think that what's eventually going to happen is that Monero will be made illegal, and I think it will skyrocket even more. Because
I think it will initially crash hard and then skyrocket. But either way, as long as you don't panic, then which we're not, then it's probably going to skyrocket.
You hold it, and then it becomes the way that I think like some super elites will use to spend money, and you'll be able to, eventually sell it to somebody who wants it for a lot of cash.
And people try to keep saying, oh, it's a drug dealer money, it's a terrorist money. No, it's a terrorist money, the drug dealer money. It's the dollar is the terrorist money, it's the drug dealer money.
Sure.
And the thing is, if it's better for terrorists and drug dealers, then it's probably better for me. Like if that's their best form of money, then they're probably pretty in tune to what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want to do it through people are like, oh, Bitcoin is going to be used for all this nefarious stuff. Well, you're tracked using Bitcoin. Like you'd have to be an idiot to be doing nefarious things through Bitcoin because they've Sam has interviewed Lynn Ulbrich, who's the mother of the Silk Road founder. I'm good friends with her. Actually, I have a pic. Last time I saw her was actually wearing the shirt.
Is she related to the guy that's in the joint doing life?
That's his mother.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so I speak with her almost every week, and it's and I was super pissed that Trump didn't do the right thing and didn't free him. Got absolutely railroaded. I'd recommend everyone goes to freeross.org, watches the railroad documentary on this because it was like the biggest railroading of anybody that I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, I think that he probably, given what he was doing, it's not crazy to think that he got in trouble, but double life plus 40, a little harsh. And the fact that Trump didn't have the balls to do anything, I mean, Trump at this point is completely dead to me. Sam knows that I predicted Trump was going to lose and that they were going to. I gave a presentation at Anarchapulco where I had 6 states on a slide saying that they're going to steal a few. They're going to steal these 6 states, and all they need to do is flip the voting machines in a couple counties in each state, and that's all they need to do on video. And then I also predicted Trump was going to win in 2016 before I even created a podcast and said they're going to blame it on the Russians when they do win, when I only had like 3 videos. So I just see the tea leaves. They're going to make all cash digital. Everything's going to be tracked, traced, and surveilled. And at that point, they're going to shut people, like everyone that's probably listening to this, all of us, degenerates out there, they're going to cut us all off. They're cutting off Trump. They're cutting off Trump supporters. And that's before they even have digital control grid in. So eventually they're going to completely have us by the balls, and then we're going to be screwed. And so I'm trying to get ahead of that a little bit right now. So people can call me paranoid.
And I believe in a lot of that. I got to go, guys.
Hold on. I have one last question. It's very important because
right.
Tim obviously has an expansive knowledge of the crypto world. What is your portfolio comprised of? Is it all crypto, or are you in cash? Are you in the market? If you don't want to discuss it, that's fine.
I mean, I've even been telling, for my clients, buying, portfolios for people that I'm putting together, and Bitcoin is a part of that. But for myself personally, the only thing, I mean, I think the entire stock market's pretty much a rigged casino, but I also think it's going to be going higher because of money printing. And the only thing I've really been buying the past couple of years has been basically like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few other smaller ones. I mean, that's pretty much.
Why isn't anyone talking about Maker, by the way? Because Maker is right there with Ethereum. And it's actually always been more. I'm like, nobody talks about this coin, and it's doing the exact same that Ethereum is. Everybody loves Ethereum, and they're like, Ethereum's going to be number 2. And I'm like, but Maker's sticking right with it. It's not. It's always been at least $60 more, if not even more than Ethereum. And I just don't get it, dude. So what I do, guys, this is just me. Every time a new digital coin pops up on Coinbase, I buy $100. I sit on, I watch, see how it operates. I have about 5 coins that I have most of my money in. I have it in obviously Bitcoin. I have Ethereum. I have Maker. I have Monero, and I do have XRP. And I know everybody hates it, and I understand why Tim hates it, but I own it because I do think that these people are going to try to pump it up to make it the coin that everybody wants to use. And I'm going to sit on it. And then if they do that, I'm going to sell it and not feel bad about it. Dude, if I spend $1 a Bitcoin, I feel like a piece of shit. Dude, you let Ripple and XRP just blow up, I'll sell it, not even think twice about it. But that is it. Guys, great episode. I hate to do this, but great episode, man. I thought it was a great episode. Another banger. We'll see how it goes. You guys heard what they said. I gotta be honest with you, Chris. That thing you mentioned about the sport, the video game betting, I think that's a real good buy right there. And I don't even know a lot about stocks yet, but I think what the future is, dude, I think you're gonna see a lot of these sports, these esports blowing up, dude. And I think you're going to start, I mean, especially with these, the more traditional sports getting so political now, I could really see money being pulled out. Like the NFL, you got Deshaun Watson right now talking about he doesn't want to be on Houston because the owner isn't doing enough for social justice. And I'm like, have we ever heard that from a guy on a winning team? No, you're just using that because ESPN will run with it and they'll fucking force this guy to trade you. So I think that is especially in Texas, dude. In Texas, you're saying that shit. I think it's esports are gonna take off, dude, and to be able to be with the company that makes bets on it. I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna hit up Chris.
There's one other thing I wanted to add to that because this was a fascinating stat.
What was that ticker again? Chris?
GMBL. The interesting stat that jumped out at me is that 75% of these fans, I believe it is, they not only play the games, but they spend 51 minutes a day just watching them. And that concept is so foreign.
Twitch is just that.
Right,
it's
via
huge.
Twitch.
So it's like, this is an idea that I'm actually gonna go look at.
And they're buying digital things within, these realms that are only digital. And actually the guy that patented a lot of this stuff was actually Max Kaiser, who you've had on a couple of times, with this guy who, started doing this stuff way back in the 90s with his Hollywood virtual stock exchange. But anyways, no, I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's an awesome show.
It's awesome.
Great show, guys. This has been Cash Daddies. Evan, great job. Fucking Howie, great job. Chris, great job. Again, Tim, where can they find you real quick?
thelibertyadvisor.com for all the financial advisor stuff. Then you go to the right-hand corner, click on media, and it's all the propaganda I'm putting out through different podcasts. Do a lot of stuff with World Alternative Media with Josh Segerson, a lot of financial economics, geopolitics, and obviously blockchain as well.
Get my dates. I'm going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina, February.
And Phoenix,
18th.
right?
Phoenix will be in April, but I'll be in Raleigh on the 18th through the 20th at Good Night. So come hang out, guys. I love you. T-shirts are getting made too, so we're gonna start getting that going. And the Unabomber was right. You guys are the best. I appreciate you. Thank you, guys.